Hey everybody, I don't need to repeat all this. It's part 4. Let's do it. Do you think powerlifting world records are going to improve much in the raw, like you typed raw in caps, raw division in the next decade? Well, depends on what we mean by raw. Do we mean raw like where I compete raw, or do we mean belt and knee wraps raw? With knee wraps, yeah, they're going to go up because knee wrap technology is improved. You're going to see more guys hitting bigger numbers as a result of the change in technology for equipped gear in the semi-raw divisions. As far as the others, I think we've seen a surge in records recently due to some changes in training philosophy among a lot of the top guys. I think the training has improved a bit. I don't think we're going to see that again in the near future as a result of that. And combined with the fact that a lot of the top lifters today are not only using better training, they are pushing the drug envelope a lot harder than what a lot of power lifters were doing a decade ago. And that's just the reality. Guys are hitting heavier drugs in the untested, and a lot better ways have come out to bypass drug testing in the tested. So you're seeing both of those go up also in part due to the drugs. And that's just the reality that a lot of people don't want to accept, but it's true. And I think in the untested, from what I'm seeing, from what I know from some of the top guys are using through coaches and friends of mine, I think these guys are pretty well capped out for their weight classes, for the amount of size they're holding. A lot of them are pretty well capped out now on the drugs. I don't think they're going to be able to get more performance at this point by adding more drugs. A lot of the training methods have improved, so you're not necessarily going to see a lot of new records now in the raw because of that. But the knee wrap stuff, yeah, because the technology is improving and guys are getting more spring out of the wraps. Those are probably going to keep going up for a little while. All right, next question. From the most obscure starlet or kid with a nice body to seasoned pros, everybody in the fitness world is offering coaching and nutrition advices, or even more training services. I'm always skeptical about these people. How should one choose a coach? Can you modify, shorten the question? You bet I did. It was really long. Should you choose it for your clips? Thanks. All right, here's what you need to base a coach upon. People need to throw out this stuff of what do they look like? What's their formal schooling? Those should not always be your predominant determinations of if someone's a good coach or not. They can be factors. They can absolutely be factors, because let's be realistic. If someone has proven that they can do something well in the real world, now you always got to remember their genetic gifts could be playing a massive role there, and that's what you can't discount. And they've got some serious credentials. Okay, those are strong selling points. Those aren't bad. But what you really need to look at is what sort of success are they getting with their clients. Look at the client testimonials. Look at the results of the clients. Don't just look at the clients with obviously amazing genetics. Find the clients that they have worked with for a year or two. That's what you want to ask for when you're picking a coach. Ask them, get referrals. Find the clients they've worked with for a year or two straight, who they've taken from shit to amazing. And if they can produce a number of those, and they can produce some guys who are really killing it in whatever sort of competition you're doing, who started without really seeming like they had a whole lot of potential, and they've produced several of those, that's what you want to look for in a coach, is their track record with their clients. That is the number one thing you look for. You don't even look at, how silly and bro are their methods. You need to look at their track record with their clients. You need to look at their level of interaction. What sort of interaction do they offer? How much one-on-one stuff do they give? How personalized is it? How open are they to questions and explanations to their customers who ask them questions? And then you've got to balance all of that with your budget, because I'm going to be honest here, some coaches are literally 20 times more expensive than others for the same thing. There are coaches who will prep you for certain events, and some really reputable, well-known coaches may charge you literally 20 times as much money as a lesser-known coach. So you've got to weigh that out with your budget also, because most people cannot afford a top coach. You can't. Unless they're taking you on as a special case. Now, if you've got the money, all right, but a lot of people don't. So you've also got to factor in, what do their rates look like? on top of that. And it's a balancing act between all of those things. But again, what you really look for in a good coach, irrespective of their price ranging, is what sort of results are they getting in their clients, and not just clients who are already very competitive and doing well, who they just made a little better. Because anybody can take a genetic freak and make them a little better. In fact, even a drug test, anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together can figure out how to slip some extra drugs into a genetic freak to get through drug testing and turn them amazing. Okay, look for their clients who they've taken from shit to amazing. That's what you're looking for. All right, next question. What are your views on the reverse grip barbell bench press and the statement that in some study it showed a 30% increase in upper chest muscle activation over the regular pronated grip flat barbell bench press? That was a mouthful. While the incline barbell bench press in most cases showed only an increase of 5% over the flat barbell bench press. All right, those studies, you can throw that shit away. And this is coming from a guy who loves studies and research. EMG studies on muscle groups and lifts can tell you 3 things. One of 3 things. Is a muscle almost not recruited at all during an exercise? Is it recruited weakly, or is it recruited very effectively? You cannot accurately use EMG studies to determine out of 3 exercises that all give good activation in a muscle head or a muscle group, which of the 3 is the best. They're not accurate enough to do that. And anyone telling you they are is playing a game with you. And I know some very valid people out there who do put out some pretty good material who still try to convince you of that. It's bullshit. Any exercise that puts it in that good range and that it's an effective recruiter of it is a good exercise, period. You can't use that study to tell which is the best, even if it shows a better percentage there. All 3 of those exercises are good there. The incline is probably slightly better for the upper chest. The reverse bench press is very good for the upper chest. I think it's a good exercise. I think it has its place. I think it's an amazing tricep builder. I think it's a dangerous exercise, and you need to take extra safety and precautions when using it. I've covered that before in another Q&A, so I'm not going to go into all that on the safeties again. I think it's a good exercise, but it needs to be approached with caution and with metal safeties, not human spotters, to protect you in case something goes wrong. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 5.